Hey YouTube, my name is Trevor Bagnall, and today we're discussing what I think are the best HDMI cables for use with your camera and photo accessories. Now, this video won't get too much into cable specifications. If you're looking for that kind of information, then I refer you to a video that a fellow Canuck by the name of Gerald Undone did recently on HDMI cables, link above here. It's very in-depth, he's a little bit crazy, and very knowledgeable though, and goes into all the ins and outs about different types of cables and the different specifications and why you'd want to use which cable for which application. This video is just going to be more about which actual cable that I think is the best for my GH5 and Atomos recorder. So when I first got my Atomos external recorder, I started looking around YouTube and other online camera shops for HDMI cables that could handle the maximum data rates that my GH5 could output to my recorder. I wanted to make sure that I could do 4K at 60 frames a second and 10-bit color. And without a whole bunch of hoopla around cable specs, you need a minimum of an HDMI 2.0 rated cable. At the time when I was looking for the first cable to go between my camera and my recorder, I wasn't finding much out there that fit the bill. And I ended up going with an Atomos 12-inch to 24-inch coil HDMI cable. This cable ended up setting me back around $99 US from B&H Photo. And B&H Photo had some other cables from Atomos that were similar in size and configuration, and they're listed around $20 US, but they're not rated for the full data rate coming from the GH5 when doing the 4K 60 10-bit color. In other words, they're not 2.0 spec HDMI cables. The Atomos cable is very rugged. It's not likely to break down easily, and it certainly works okay for the data rates. And it works out okay configuration-wise when I have my camera set up in a cinema rig format on a tripod. But as soon as I wanted to try and use the gimbal, my Zion Crane V2 gimbal with this cable, it wasn't working out so well. The coiling of the cable meant that I would have to mount the monitor very close to the gimbal head, and it would definitely affect the movement of the gimbal unless you were standing very still, which defeats the purpose of the gimbal in the first place. So I kept looking around for better cables that would be able to manage the data rates, and this is when I finally came across this cable, which is the Sanho Hyperthin HDMI cable. It's a very tiny diameter cable, which made me a bit skeptical as first, as I thought, such thin wiring would not have the capability for such high data transmission rates. Turns out it works just fine. The overall length is advertised as 2.6 feet or 31.2 inches, and my cable measures in at slightly more than that at 34.5 inches from connector to end of connector. Oh, and did I mention it's reasonably priced at only $18.35 US? Now, it still has to be determined how long it will stand up to the amount of punishment that I'll put it through. So I travel a lot for work, and everything in my camera bag is stuffed in there. So, but even if it doesn't last as long as the Atomos cable, well, I can still buy 4 of them for the same price as one Atomos cable. When I have it installed on the cinema rig, it's easy to just wrap the excess around the rig and not get caught up on everything. One of the complaints that I had with the Atomos cable being so short, the cable would pull itself back onto itself and coil up all the time. Because it was so short, I would have to continuously keep flipping the Atomos recorder from being mounted from the top or the bottom, 20/4-inch 20 bosses, depending on whether it was facing towards the person in front of the camera or backwards to the camera operator, due to the position of the HDMI port needing to be closer to the camera to make the cable work. This meant I was also continuously having to flip the image on the recorder based on the configuration. Now, that doesn't sound like much of an issue, as it's quick enough to navigate the menus on the recorder and flip the image vertically, but it's just another thing to have to do when on set or recording, and just another thing to think of. So with the Sanho cable, of course, it's long enough to flip the recorder back and forth as much as I want, and always have it mounted from the same side of the recorder, in this case from the bottom of the recorder. When gimbal mounting the camera and still wanting to use the external recorder, the cable works perfectly in this configuration. It's lightweight, so it's not tugging on the gimbal motors all the time, and the length allows for full movement of the gimbal without being limited by the cable. Well, that's it for this video, folks. If you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe, and please tell me your thoughts down below in the comments section. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. I won't be offended. Remember, I do this for the love of doing it, and I hope that you find it useful too. So until the next time, my name's Trevor Bagnall. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.